everyone, welcome to this video. We are calling this Orgone Energy Research. My name is Naima. I go by the pen name Hope Girl, and I'm here with my husband Tavon, and the two of us together run the Fix the World organization out of Morocco, where we make orgone products for EMF protection. This particular video that we've put together is an accumulation of all of our scientific research that we've found for orgone energy. Now, before we go into this, we're going to cover 4 different areas of the research that we found behind the orgone energy. Let me go ahead and share my screen. So the 4 different areas that we're going to cover, these are 4 different studies. We'll start off with Wilhelm Reich and the Infant Trust. We believe this to be one of the the highest quality, best credentialed website that talks about Wilhelm Reich and his work and the science behind his work and his biography. We'll also go into the Reich blood test from the Heraclitic Laboratory, and they've done some experiments that have replicated orgone energy experiments where you can measure what the orgone energy does to the blood, which is fascinating. There is also a study by the University of Pennsylvania, which covers orgone energy. And last but certainly not least is the Alexander Golod Pyramid study done out of Moscow, Russia. And that has some amazing correlations with orgone energy, as well as it explains the science behind the pyramid shape. Some people even refer to it as like pyramid power. So we're going to go into that as well. Now, before we completely begin, I just wanted to cover a couple of ground areas here, because very often we hear things about orgonite is pseudoscience, it's not real, it's woo-woo, and so for that we just wanted to really clarify a few things to help people out. So this is about science versus pseudoscience and the scientific method. These are some definitions. The first definition is the definition of science, which is the intellectual and practical activity encompassing the systematic study of the structure and behavior of the physical and natural world through observation and experiment. The scientific method is a method of procedure that has characterized natural science since the 17th century, consisting in systematic observation, measurement, and experiment, and the formulation, testing, and modification of hypotheses. And pseudoscience can be defined as consists of statements, beliefs, or practices that are claimed to be both scientific and factual, but are incompatible with the scientific method. Pseudoscience is often characterized by contradictory, exaggerated, or unfalsified, of openness to evaluation by other experts, and absence of systematic practices when developing theories, and continued adherence long after they have been experimentally discredited. And the reason why we are bringing this up is because what we're about to cover in this particular video are the scientific studies, the hard facts, the laboratory results and experiments that have been done in well-funded laboratories with really good equipment to show the effects of orgone energy. And we wanted to make sure that you, our viewers, understand that this is the information that we're covering, and we're staying kind of far away from any of that other stuff that has to do more with a belief system than the actual science and the observation of it. So with that said, Tavon, can you start us out by just commenting a little bit on what you've seen around science, pseudoscience, the scientific method when it comes to information covering orgone energy?
Yeah, sure. One of the things that we ran across when we started researching orgone energy, especially coming from the perspective of orgonite and these other derivatives from the technology, is we researched the life of Wilhelm Reich, but more specifically into his development of this energy, of orgone energy, what he used to measure it. So he used a series of contraptions, experiments, in order to get some quantifiable data from this new form of energy at the time that he was doing his research. So we're talking 1930s, 1940s. So basically, he created this body of work that was based on science. And when you look at the progression of the things he was working on, it went from the human psychology, especially from his angle, because he was a student of Sigmund Freud, and under psychology, sexuality. But then starting into the hard sciences, when he tried to observe the energy fluctuations coming off of the human body, and found that this is an actual whole new phenomenon. And he ended up having to develop devices in order to measure this particular field, this energetic field, bioenergetic field. So that's a hard science, and the experiments that they developed back during that time is being replicated to this day by universities. But what we're also seeing in parallel to those replications is kind of like an advancement of that technology, but it's being spun in almost like a new agey, again, belief system or doctrine. And so we're trying to dispel that, get rid of that, and just kind of like stick to the science, stick to what it's capable of and its implications, specifically as far as not only healing individuals, but also healing the planet.
Wilhelm Reich Infant Trust. And there is a lot of information out there about Wilhelm Reich, and it comes from all different kinds of places. And there's some sad stories to how his life ended, because he was oppressed in many different ways. But what we want to focus on here is the Wilhelm Reich Infant Trust, which is a website that is basically, well, actually, Tavon, why don't you go ahead and just introduce what it is?
The Wilhelm Reich Infant Trust has basically continued the late Dr. Wilhelm Reich's legacy. He left it in his will, basically the continuation of this work. And this group has basically kept the museum, which was his research laboratory, and his published material available for the public. So we highly encourage that you support the Wilhelm Reich Infant Trust, that you go onto this website, wilhelmreichtrust.org, and you support them any way you can. Go to their bookstores, buy their materials, maybe support them through a donation, and keep that going, because basically what this is, it's an embodiment of all the work and his journals that basically him and his team have kept during the time that they were researching or doing their research here in America. And so now his biography, as far as who he was, again, like you said, it's available online. So we're not going to really go too deep into that. But needless to say, this man he survived. He was born during the end of the Austrian-Hungarian Empire, and he survived World War II. And so he saw he saw fascism, and he saw the nuclear tests being done afterwards. And from that time is when he was developing making his most amazing discoveries, dealing with orgone energy. The accumulator was made, like, I think it was 1939, 1940, during that time period, and this was right at the end of World War II, and during the beginning of the nuclear bomb testing. So you can go to this website and you can look at his work. But also, in addition to that, I'm just going to get access to this page here. What I want to also share with you is the Wilhelm Reich Infant Trust covers his biography into more detail. So if you want to see more or know more about what he was in more of a more detailed summary, again, come to this website. It talks about his youth, the summarization of his youth, him being a student under Sigmund Freud, and it's broken up into sections, so it's really great. It goes into his early study of it's called bioelectrical experiments, and in fact, his orgone energy research was basically an offshoot of bioelectrical experiments. And the bioelectrical experiments go on to this day, so that's why there is a very close connection between those experiments and then what people are doing with experimenting with the orgone energy accumulator type devices. And then it goes into his years in America and his legacy in America, and the FDA basically shutting him down and shutting down the research for a couple of decades until it's basically gotten restored, and to this day is being replicated, and people are actually using it for their own personal and medical uses. So it's well outlined on this page, but what I want to go through is the development of the chronology of his research. So when you look at him going into academia, starting from the 1923 onward, he starts into his research as the student of Sigmund Freud. So he's going into his research based from a sexual angle, and basically the interaction between human behavior and human interaction. Dealing with just basically the physiology of the human being, and just sexual behavior and so forth. And then as the time went on, he tried to connect an electrical or bioelectrical feedback or signature from these interactions. And now once he started doing that, then he went into the hard sciences of discovering the basic properties that made up blood cells and so forth. So he came up with this orgone energy vesicles, or bions, which are kind of like elemental living cellular structures that are more fundamental than things like red or white blood cells and things like that. These bions seem to be the building blocks that carry this the bioenergetic energy through the body. Okay. So he started researching this. He also started to research how this energy can be harnessed. This energy that he found in bions, this blue glow that's found around red blood cells, and said, well, how can I harness this? How can I measure this field? And then what is the effect of this field on bacteria? What is the effect of this field on viruses? So in order to observe this energy field and create an environment so this field is basically amplified and exposing bacteria and viruses to this field, he developed devices called accumulators. And so you see in the 1940s, he started to invent these accumulators, these boxes of alternating layers of metal and organic non-metal insulating layers, like a plastic or sheep's wool or cotton. These alternating layers. So through this research, he found when he created these boxes of alternating layers, he was able to get this orgone energy field stored within the actual container. And this container had some very unique healing properties, some also dealing with anti-nuclear properties, anti-cancer properties. He was treating plants with these. He had patients with these. And when he started to go through this whole evolution in his research was when later on the FDA, Food Drug Administration, basically came in and was trying to shut down the research during that time. So again, all of this is recorded in his legacy on the Wilhelm Reich Infant Trust website, and we highly encourage you to support these people and to buy these materials and to get familiar with this research.
Well, before we go any further into the next study, we just wanted to take a short break because we're going to be telling you guys about our products in between each one of these studies, because this is how we keep going and we keep spreading the word out there and how we pay our own bills. But we do have some fantastic products that we wanted to show you. The first one we're going to talk about is our new phone shields. Now, these phone shields are a Orgonite mixture, but they're also made with Shungite in that mix, and the purpose of them is for EMF protection against the harmful effects of EMF that comes from your Wi-Fi, your cell phone, your routers. You can stick them right on your cell phones, right on your laptops, or on your routers, and it helps to harmonize the energy coming off of those that would normally be bad and make you feel sickly. Sometimes people feel that they get sick when they're around their cell phone too much, and this helps to harmonize that. Tuvon, can you just speak a little bit to how these cell phones work and what kind of packages we've got?
Sure. So basically, these shields are able to take the energy that is being absorbed through your phone or being transmitted from your phone and is traveling around the body, and is able to change that energy. And so it's not the shield in itself is more like it transforms the energy, not necessarily blocks the energy. We have shungite as part of the material inside the mix, is because shungite at the quantum level has some very specific properties that is able to change the nature, the harmful effects of these fields. It is something that's a bit more compatible. This is why shungite is used in some of the more elite resorts in Europe. You got these shungite relaxation rooms, and these rooms are able to basically shield from the external environment all these harmful fields. And you have, when you go into these rooms, you know, with the fireplace and these nice lounge chairs, and it's all laced with shungite tiles, painted with shungite paint, the nice relaxing environment. You feel relaxed, you feel calm, your body de-stresses. The similar things are results have been found with bees to restore them from bee collapse. People are taking shungite materials and putting them in the entrance where the bees go into the beehives. What they're also doing is taking paint, like external paint for painting onto wood, and they're mixing shungite powder in the paint and then painting the whole beehive with the shungite paint, and they're finding that it's basically reverse bee collapse. They're getting like quadruple, quintuple the amount of bee population that they had before, all because of what shungite is able to do with these fields in this sea of energy that we're all surrounded in. So by having these, by having this phone shield on your cell phone, on your laptop, your routers, it changes the nature of the local field, so it doesn't impact the body and doesn't create so much stress and a burden on the body. So like you said, we have these offers as well, where you can get them in different sets. You can get them in sets of 5. And we have different sets on our website. You can get in any color you want, and yeah, we're just open to being able to get this out there to people so that they can basically not feel so damaged by these harmful effects of wireless energy.
And if you're interested in picking these up, we do have the link in the video below, and just in case it's not there for any reason, go to ftwproject.com and click on our special offers, and you'll see the special offers we have on our new product, our cell phone shields.